You know, I've got to give the German people some credit. They sure do know how to design a sharp-looking rifle. Welcome to the G36C. Hello, I'm Raging Amish, and welcome to the G36C in Modern Warfare 3. Every once in a while, the developers throw a gun my way that speaks to my soul. This is one of those guns. I know that must sound weird. An Amishman who enjoys shooting a rifle? What is this world coming to? Next, you're going to tell me there's a businessman who wants to run the country like a company, and an incumbent who never delivered on all of the changes he promised. Oh wait, that's reality.
Bring it on, baby!
Maybe I shouldn't get political in these videos. Anyway, technically speaking, the G36C is first made available at level 1 as part of a default class, but the gun is formally made available at level 42. Like most assault rifles, the G36C is fully automatic with an above average fire rate of 769 RPM. As is typical for assault rifles, you get a 30 round magazine, which is good enough to get the job done. As for your bullet power, the G36C is pretty typical for an assault rifle. Up close, each round does 40 damage and it drops to 25 at a distance. As with most automatic assault rifles such as the ACR, CM901, or AK-47, you're looking at a 3 to 4 hit kill. If you do manage to hit the head, you get the typical 40% damage bonus. I know I've said this 100 times before, but a headshot will reduce your number of shots to kill by 1. Whoopity-doo! While the damage on this rifle is typical, the range is a little subpar. By default, the damage starts to drop at 22.5 meters and completely falls off at 40 meters. In the grand scheme, this isn't horrible, just a bit below average. For reference, this drop-off is very similar to that of the ACRs. Of course, since this is an assault rifle, we've got plenty of average stats to follow. For instance, the movement rate is okay at 90%, the penetration power is medium, your crosshairs are assault rifle sized, and the idle sway is low. The gun fits a jack-of-all-trades kind of playstyle, which is why the rifle is fairly popular in the community. You won't see the G36 as much as say the ACR, Type 95, or the MP7, but it's out there. Shifting into your transition times, get it, shifting, transition, I've been doing this for too long. Your transition times on the G36 are nothing short of astounding. By default, the gun raises in 500 milliseconds and drops in 300 milliseconds. If I'm not mistaken, both of these features are the fastest swap speeds you'll find on any primary in the game.
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
As for your ADS speed, it's typical for an assault rifle at 300 milliseconds. Quick draw is a decent fit, but it's really not needed. The reload speeds on this gun, however, are not average. I would actually say they're pretty bad. By default, the gun reloads in 2.43 seconds, or 3.46 seconds if the mag was completely empty. Either way, the bullets enter the chamber at the 1.50 second mark. I can't find a good way around it. Sleight of hand is really hard to pass on. These reload speeds just aren't very good. When looking at the recoil, the G36 continues to be kinda crappy, but the keyword here is kinda. The best way to explain it is to just look at the numbers. By default, we have a value of 35 to the left, 35 to the right, and 35 downwards. Heading up, however, we have a value of 75. Countering the recoil profile is a center speed of 1600. A few things stand out. First, the recoil profile is symmetric. The G36's net direction is up. Second, the recoil is very, very predictable. You really don't need the kick proficiency. The recoil is easy to account for, so a tendency to lurch up is a minor inconvenience at most.
What was that?
Yeah, take that, you jerk.
That was a minor inconvenience.
I can understand if some folks would argue for the kick proficiency, but I'm not one of those people. Still, we haven't covered the ugliest part about the recoil, which of course is the irons. These are some of the nastiest sights you'll ever see. I will say it's really not that hard to get used to them, and I personally don't think they're that bad. Still, the irons are one of the biggest turnoffs for people when deciding whether or not to use the G36. Understandably, many people choose to equip a sight to compensate for the poor irons. Since we're on the subject, up next is the attachments. I know what the game has to offer, but I have to wonder, before we get into that, if we were in an alternate universe, what kind of options would this gun have?
Holster,
Oh, yeah.
bandolier,
Baby.
silencer, loudener, speed cocker.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Red dot sight, holographic sight. As you can guess, these attachments are quite valuable. The red dotted holographic cure one of the gun's main problems. You don't have to put it with ugly irons and gain the advantage of a very clear sight. This is one gun where the red dot and holographic serve an actual purpose. Mess around with these if you're going to try the G36C. Silencer. What can I say? It's the same as always. You don't show up on radar and you lose 25% of your range. Personally, I found myself favoring other options on the G36, but the silencer isn't a bad choice. Use it at your discretion. Marshmallow launcher.
Tried to think of the most harmless thing. Something I loved from my childhood. Something that could never ever possibly destroy us. Mr. Stay Puft.
How have I not made that reference before? Anyway, the grenade launcher isn't all that great. More often than not, you're going to need both grenades to get a kill, and frankly, you have better choices elsewhere. Don't use the marshmallow launcher. ACOG scope. Oddly enough, I really found myself liking the ACOG. The G36's kick is very predictable, making long-range combat quite easy. Is this attachment for everyone? No, but definitely give it a try. Heartbeat sensor. As always, the HBS is a decent option, but really this attachment is what you make it. Arguably by now you should know all of the maps like the back of your hand, so a heartbeat sensor really won't help all that much. Plus, Assassin is ever so popular, negating this attachment. The choice is yours. Try it out if you like, switch to something else if it doesn't work. Master Key Shotgun.
What?
Hybrid sights. As you can guess, I like this attachment. The holographic is a good choice. The ACOG is a good choice. So of course, putting them together creates a love child of awesomeness. The hybrid can be a little bulky, but I found myself really digging this attachment. It adds to the G36's already very high versatility. Try it out if you haven't already. Extended mags. It seems the G36C is chock full of good options, and here's another one. Extended mags gives you a 45 bullet capacity plus 135 rounds to start. I often found I had ammo issues with the G36C, so extended mags really is a great fit. It's that simple. Bigger mags will always come in handy. Thermal scope. I assure you, I am not ill, because I'm about to say something I don't normally say, and yes, I do feel a little dirty. The thermal scope is a decent attachment.
Holy crap. We should go.
The thermal gets rid of visual kick, and the idle sway is low. Granted, assassin users don't show up in white, but that almost doesn't matter. The sight is easy to use, grants a decent zoom level for ranged combat, and with quick draw offers some very precise power on the battlefield. This is a credit to how good the G36C is. Almost any attachment can work. In the end, it's far easier to tell you which attachment to avoid rather than to pick one option that's best. As such, make sure to avoid the grenade launcher and the Master Key shotgun. All other attachments are fair game. If you're not sure what you want, then do your best to choose.
You must choose. But choose wisely.
Moving on, the G36's high flexibility continues when we look at your perks. Honestly, anything can work. Still, I'll try to narrow the field down a bit. For the blue tier, I say go with sleight of hand first. This may sound odd considering the G36 has quick switch speeds, but the reload times are just a little too slow for my taste. Still, if you pick extended mags, or don't mind the slow reloads, then I say try blind eye. The G36C is accurate enough and powerful enough to take down small kill streaks in the air. The perk is a good fit. Moving into your red tier, I say go with quick draw. Your ADS speed isn't bad by default. Quick draw just makes you that much more lethal. He who gets the first shot off wins. Finally, I say go with a sound perk for your third tier. Sit rep and or dead silence makes sense. Each ability allows you to hear footsteps, which is always a useful tool with any class setup. I'll say it again, it's hard to pick a bad perk setup on the G36. I mean it, pretty much anything can work, but that's not the case with your proficiencies. Here I find two options work best. The first is focus.
Focus.
The reason is simple. I'm betting you'll be playing aggressive with the G36C, so you can plan on getting shot a good bit. Focus will help you keep the gun on target. The G36C already has high vertical kick, which makes the gun lurch unexpectedly. Focus will help prevent any unwanted movement so you can win gunfights. As for option number 2, you really should consider picking the attachments proficiency. The G36 has so many different good attachment options. Mixing together two is flat out lethal. Finally, for your secondary, I have to stick to my guns and advise dual-wielded .44 Magnums. This may seem like an odd choice, but I can explain.
Damn, I think it's great. It's history making.
I often found myself emptying the mag with the G36C. When that happens, you're going to be scrambling to reload or pulling at your secondary. With akimbo magnums, you can have a lethal secondary out in a flash. Of course, if you'd like to use machine pistols, by all means, be my guest. In practice, I just found I had more success with the Magnum. End of the day, I stand by what I said at the outset of the video. The G36C is an overall solid gun that's a lot of fun to use. The recoil and the reloads may not be all that great, but the gun makes up for it with great switch speeds, decent power, and a jack-of-all-trades playstyle. That concludes this review of the G36C. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll understand me when I say I'm not sure when there will be a next time. With Black Ops 2 coming out soon, I'm going to be shifting my focus to the Nightmares of COD. I apologize that I didn't cover as much as I would have liked to with Modern Warfare 3, but you live and learn. I plan to deliver more consistently and give even better videos with Black Ops 2. I'm completely open to coming back to review guns from this game again, so we'll see how things go. For the moment, this is Raging Amish, checking out.